I don't expect you to believe me. Most people don't. But what I'm about to tell you happened when I was a kid. And even now, decades later, I still don't sleep with the lights off. I still check corners. I still listen for sounds that shouldn't be there. This isn't a campfire story. This is what lives in the back of my memory like a splinter you can't pull out. 3 things. 3 houses. 3 times something crossed over. And I'm telling you now because maybe if I say it out loud, it'll finally let go of me. But I don't think it will. I don't think it ever will. The first house was small. The kind of small where you bump into each other in the hallway. I was 9. My little sister was 5. Mom worked late sometimes. The house was old, she said. Old houses settle. Old houses make noise. And for a while I believed her. But old houses don't whisper your name at 2 in the morning. Old houses. Don't leave scratches in the wood right next to where you sleep. It started on a night I couldn't sleep. I was lying in bed, blanket pulled up to my chin like a shield. My ceiling had those glow-in-the-dark stars. You know the ones. They never really glowed that bright. Just a faint green, enough to make shadows look wrong. I was watching the tree branches outside sway against the wall. That's what I told myself I was watching. But then I noticed one shadow didn't sway. It just sat there, low, near my toy chest. At first I thought it was a pile of clothes, or a stuffed animal I'd left out. I almost laughed at myself, scared of a shadow. What a baby. Then I blinked, and the shadow was gone. Not faded, not moved. Gone. Like it had never been there. And I felt cold. Not the room. Inside me. Like someone had poured ice water straight into my bones. I pulled the blanket over my head and didn't come out until morning. The next day, my toy chest was open, wide open. I never left it open. Mom would yell if toys spilled out. But there it was,
Mom!
open, like someone had been looking through my things while I slept. I closed it, didn't tell anyone. Kids learn early that adults don't believe the scary stuff. A few weeks later, my sister said something at dinner. She was 5. Little kids say weird things all the time, but this was different. She said, "Mom, I don't like the man in my closet." She said it so casual, like she was talking about a doll, like it was normal. I froze. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. Mom just waved her hand and said, "Sweetie, you're imagining things." But I saw my sister's face. She wasn't imagining. She was scared, really scared. She just didn't know how to say it yet. Later, when Mom wasn't around, I asked her what man. She said he stands in the closet at night. He whispers. She can't hear the words, but he's there, every night. I didn't sleep well after that. Then came the night I woke up to something dragging across my floor. Not footsteps, not a pet. Dragging, like fingernails, slow, deliberate, across the wooden floorboards. I didn't move, I couldn't. The sound came closer, closer, stopped right next to my bed. I was sure if I looked over the edge, I'd see a face staring up at me. Pale, waiting, so I didn't look. I squeezed my eyes shut and prayed and somehow fell back asleep. Morning came. I got up, looked at the floor,
It's time
and
we
there they were.
face this.
Long scratches, fresh,
Let this
deep into the
light
wood,
guide us.
right where the sound had stopped. I ran to
Keep
show
us
Mom.
safe.
She got angry, said I must have been playing with something sharp, dragging furniture. I swore I didn't. She didn't believe me. She never did. After that, things got worse. Whispers from my closet, soft, like a radio turned down low. Not words, just sounds. My sister would cry at night. I'd run into her room and she'd be pointing at the corner, shaking, saying, "He's there. He's there." I never saw him, but I felt him. You know that feeling when someone's watching you? The hair on your arms stands up, your neck gets cold. That was my whole childhood in that house. The worst night came in winter. I woke up and my bedroom door was open. I always shut it. Always. The hallway light was on. Mom left it on for us. But then, as I watched, The hallway light went out. Not flicker. Not dim. Out. Like something had breathed on it. Then footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming down the hall. They stopped right outside my door.
Mom, there was a
I wanted to
hand
scream
at
for
the
Mom.
door.
Nothing came out.
A hand?
My throat
Oh,
closed.
sweetie.
The door
Honey,
creaked
it was
open
just
more.
a bad dream.
And I
But
saw a shape.
saw it.
Tall. Dark. It leaned in. Just its head. Just looking at me.
White lady.
I shut my eyes and pretended to be dead. When I opened them again, the door was shut. The light was back on. I was alone. Morning. I asked Mom if she came into my room. She said no. She slept all night. My sister said the man stood by her bed. This time, we told Mom together, both of us. And for the first time, Mom looked scared, really scared. She lit a candle, walked through every room,
How are you
said a prayer.
feeling today?
In each one, it got quiet for a while, but quiet
Can
doesn't
you tell
last.
me what's on
One
your
afternoon,
mind?
I came home from school before anyone else, sat on the couch
Did you
doing
see
homework.
something unusual?
Then I heard it. The toy chest in my room slammed shut, hard. Nobody else was home. I walked down the hall slow. My bedroom door was wide open. Toy chest was closed,
Not.
but all my toys were
tonight.
scattered on the floor. Like someone had dumped them out. Like something had been looking for something. I backed away, walked outside, sat on the front step until Mom came home. I told her. She said the cat did it. We didn't have a cat.
Alex.
Years later, after we moved out, I asked Mom if she ever saw anything. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said yes. Sometimes she'd wake up and see a shadow standing in her doorway. She never told us. Didn't want to scare us. But she believed there was something wrong with that house. Something that didn't belong. She said she thought it was a man, someone who used to live there, someone who didn't want to leave. Even now when I can't sleep, I hear it. Nails dragging across the floor. Some sounds never leave you. Second house, I was 10. Mom got remarried. We needed more space, bigger house, newer, quiet neighborhood with trees. I thought I'd be happy there. I was wrong. My room was at the end of the hall. 2 big windows facing the backyard. A closet deeper than my old one. First night, I woke up around midnight. Something was moving in the closet. Soft, shuffling.
Mom,
Like clothes
a man
being pushed
talked
aside.
To me.
I told myself
Don't
it was the
talk
house
to
settling.
strangers.
But then, the
But
door
he knew
moved,
my name.
not swung open, shivered, like someone had pressed on it from inside, lightly, testing. I stared at that door for hours
Nice
until I
bike.
fell
Wanna
back
race
asleep.
to the corner?
Morning.
No thanks.
The closet door was cracked open.
One day.
I had shut it tight. I asked Mom if she went in there. She said no. Air vents, she said. But I knew it wasn't the vents. Then came the tapping on the window glass. At first I thought tree branches. But when I looked, there were no branches near that window. Second floor, nothing outside. The tapping would go on for minutes. Stop when I pulled the blanket over my head. Start again when I peeked out. One night, I finally looked. Really looked. And I saw a hand, pale, pressed against the glass from the outside. Second floor, no ladder, no tree, just that hand, pressed flat, fingers spread. It stayed there for a long time. Then, it slid down slow and disappeared.
What are you
I didn't sleep that
doing
night.
here?
I told Mom the next morning. She laughed.
Grandma,
Actually
I
laughed.
saw a man
Said
in
I
a
was half
hat
asleep,
who's by the
seeing
fence.
things from a dream.
That
My
sounds
stepdad
like my
laughed too.
husband.
Said I wanted attention.
He died
But I
last
noticed something.
year.
He started
name
leaving the
was
hallway
Harold.
light on at night. Every night. People who aren't scared don't do that. A month later, my little brother started talking about the
man
white
I saw
lady.
didn't have a
He was
scar.
4. He said she came into his
He
room.
hid it
sat
under
on his bed.
stubble sometimes.
Mom said imagination. But one night, he screamed. I ran in. He was
No
curled
one
under
else
his
lives
blanket,
here.
crying so hard
I
he couldn't
moved
breathe.
back last summer.
When he finally calmed
I've
down,
never
he said she
seen
had been
anyone
standing
in the
by his door,
driveway.
just staring. Her eyes, he said, were all black. Not white, not anything. Just black holes. I believed him because I had seen that hand. And soon I started seeing her too. Not awake at first, in dreams. She would stand in the corner of my room, whisper my name. Her voice was dry, like leaves rubbing together. I'd wake up and still hear it. Faint, but real. Then one night I woke up and she was there, at the foot of my bed. Tall. So tall her head almost touched the ceiling. White dress, black stringy hair, face like chalk, eyes like empty holes. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. I shut my eyes. When I opened them, she was gone. But my closet door was wide open. I never went in that closet again. I begged Mom to let me sleep in her room. She said no. I need to learn to be brave. But I think she didn't want to admit she was scared too. The worst night came during a storm. Heavy rain, loud wind. I woke up to my window creaking. It was sliding open by itself. The lock was turning. I watched it. The lock turned. The window slid up.
I'm here.
And she climbed
what is
in.
it?
She didn't move like a
I
person.
don't see
She floated,
anything
feet
out
never
there.
touching the floor.
Let me check
She
with the
drifted toward my
flashlight.
bed, leaned down,
The street is
her
empty.
face
I'm
inches from
locking the
mine.
But I heard a voice.
I felt her breath.
You
cold,
dreamed it,
like
honey.
a freezer.
No, I
She whispered
didn't.
my name again. And this time I screamed.
I heard a
so
voice
loud my
last
throat
night
tore.
calling
Mom
from
and
the
stepdad ran
driveway.
in. Light
A
on.
voice?
Window was closed.
You're making that
locked.
up.
No one
I
there.
dare
They
you
yelled
to
at me
go
for
stand
scaring
there
everyone.
tonight and call his name.
But I saw their faces.
No,
They
I
were worried.
can't do that.
They just
See,
didn't want to
he's
say it.
Scared.
Here's the part I don't
Carol,
understand.
look!
I don't remember
It's
what
a
happened
new
between her floating
house.
toward me and me screaming. I blacked out,
Hello.
just for a
Are
second,
you still listening?
or a minute.
Hi.
I don't know.
Wave
When I came back, I was screaming and my parents were there and the window was shut. My parents said night terror, took me to therapy. I went for a while, but I know what I saw. That hand on the window came before my brother ever mentioned her. Night terrors don't do that. We lived in that house 3 more years. I never got used to it. My brother stopped talking about the white lady, not because she stopped coming, because he was too scared to say her name. Sometimes I'd hear him crying at night, whispering, "Go away. Please go away." Even now, when it storms, I get scared. I look at corners. I make sure nothing tall is standing there. These things don't leave you. They just wait. Third story. I was 8. I rode my bike every day after school. Quiet street, small houses, big trees. I knew every crack in the sidewalk.
Real.
Knew where the mailman stopped. There was one house I liked. Down the block,
Still
long
here.
driveway, wide lawn. An older man stood in that driveway most afternoons, always wore a hat. He'd stand where the driveway met the sidewalk and look down the street. When I rode by, he'd say hi, wave, ask how school was, ask about my bike. He never came onto the sidewalk, never stepped off his driveway, just called out from a distance. I always waved back. My mom said never cross the street alone, so I never did.
Some things
The man knew
let
that.
you go.
He respected it. We talked for weeks, short
They
conversations.
stay in it
Him on the
down.
driveway, me on the curb. He told me a joke about a cat
Always
once,
watching.
made me laugh. He asked if I liked the
The
bell on my
hands
new red
resting
bike.
on
I
the
said
table.
yes. He said he could
The
hear it from his
knuckles
porch.
white.
He
gripping.
seemed nice. Just a
The
lonely old
hand
man who
moves
liked
to
watching
cover
the
the
street.
driveway.
But here's the thing.
The
He knew
man
things about me,
appears,
small
then
things,
vanishes.
that I had a little brother.
They were never
That
there.
my dad got a new car. I never told him, not once. I thought maybe he saw us from down the block. Neighbors talk, that's what I told myself. One day, I got a brand new bike, red with a shiny bell. I rode down the block slow. He called out, "Nice bike." Then he smiled and said, "You want to race to the corner?" I said no. Mom would be angry. He nodded. "One day," he said, and smiled again. After that, I started looking for him. Some afternoons he was there, some he wasn't. Then one week, he stopped coming out. The curtains in his front window were closed. I rode past slow. No one in the driveway. It felt wrong. empty. I asked Mom if I could cross the street. She said no. The road isn't for unsupervised kids. A few days later, I saw a woman in the backyard. Never seen her before. Hair tied back, watering can. I stopped my bike down the street so she wouldn't see me. Watched for a bit. She didn't notice me. A few days after that, she was on the back porch with a mug. I sat on my bike, watched. Then she went inside through a side door. I made a decision. Stupid kid decision. I looked down the block to make sure Mom wasn't outside. Then I pushed my pedals hard and crossed the street like my life depended on it. The house looked bigger up close. Driveway sloped down to the road. I stopped at the back gate. The woman heard me, turned, saw a small boy with a red bike. She came to the gate, opened it, asked what I was doing. I told her about the man, the hat,
Please.
the waves, how he knew my name, how he said he'd race me one day. She wiped her hands on her dress. Then she said the man I described sounded like her husband. I smiled, thought she'd say he was inside or on a trip, but she didn't smile. She said, "He died last year, in his chair. His name was Harold." I felt something cold open in my chest, like a hole. I asked if she had a picture. She went inside, came back with a small frame. The photo showed a man with the same hat, same broad smile, same face, almost. Then she said, "The photo is new, taken a couple years ago." She pointed. He had a scar on his cheek,
I know you're
since he was
there.
young. I looked closer. Thin, pale scar,
Stay in
from
there.
ear to mouth. I remembered the man in the driveway. He had no scar. Smooth skin, round, plain face. The hat matched. The smile matched. But the scar did not. I told her I never saw a scar. She said he hid it under stubble sometimes. Then she said it again. Her husband was dead. No one else lived in the house. She had moved back last summer to take care of the garden. She had never seen anyone standing in that driveway. I thanked her, backed away, rode home slow.
One day.
The bike ride back felt like driving after a near-car accident. Radio off. Silence. Just me and what I couldn't explain. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the man's laugh, the way he said my name, the scar in the photograph, the smooth cheek I remembered. The next day, I rode by again. Curtains were open. Sunlight on the porch. Driveway empty. I waved from the corner. No one. Waved back. I pedaled away, tried to forget, made new routes, talked to other kids. Weeks passed. Then one night I woke up, rain outside, light rain, and I heard my name. Someone outside my window. The voice was familiar. It said my name the way the man used to say it. Soft, friendly, wrong. I sat up fast. My head spun. The voice kept calling. Over the rain. I shouted for Mom, threw the covers over my head. She came in, rubbed my back, said it was the wind. She went to the window, lifted the blinds. No one there. Dad checked the locks, shined a flashlight outside. Nothing. They said I dreamed it. My throat hurt the next morning from shouting. I told my friends at school. They laughed. One dared me to stand in that driveway at night and call his name. I didn't take the dare. Years passed. The street changed. The woman's house stood empty for a while. Movers came. New people painted the front. New cars in the driveway. I rode past and didn't look for the man in the hat. I got older, learned new routes, moved out for college. At 18, never moved back. Parents sold the house while I was gone. But the memory of that man sits like a small stone in my chest. I never asked the woman for more pictures. Never went back to press her for details. Because I was 8.
Do you still see her?
And I was scared. Scared to find
She never
out I'd been talking to a
left.
ghost. Scared to find out something worse. A few years ago, I drove down that block, just because. A kid was riding a bike near the corner, driveway empty. For a moment, I wanted to stop. Wanted to ask if anyone had stood there. If anyone had heard a voice in the rain, wanted a small answer that would close the gap. But I didn't stop. I kept driving. The memory stays as it was. And I try my best to suppress it these days. But some things don't let you go. They just wait for you to come back. You want to know. If I believe in ghosts now? I don't know. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. I know what touched my window. What whispered my name. What left scratches in the wood. Maybe there's an explanation. Science, psychology, sleep paralysis. But science doesn't explain a hand on a second-story window. Psychology doesn't explain a dead man standing in a driveway for weeks. And sleep paralysis doesn't explain why my sister saw the same thing I did. So here's what I believe. I believe children see what adults train themselves to ignore. I believe houses can hold on to things. People, memories, something else. I believe you can spend your whole life trying to forget and still wake up in the middle of the night listening for sounds that shouldn't be there. If you're watching this and you have your own story, something you can't explain, something that still makes you check the closet before bed, you're not crazy, you're not alone. Some doors open, some don't close all the way. And sometimes when you're lying in the dark, something leans in and whispers your name. Don't answer it.